Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Leanne and I like to make things. So that's what I do on this channel. I share with you DIYs as well as some like crafting haul, Dollar Tree haul type of things to show you all of the supplies that I like to use in my DIYs. Today's video I'm really excited about. I am excited about these decor projects that we're going to be working on, but I wanted to let you know that this is part of a collab hosted by Teresa B DIY. She has some really great content. She's very talented. So make sure you check her out when you're done with my video. I will have her linked in the description box below. And I'm going to have a playlist linked down there as well that's going to have lots of different creators that you can check out their videos and get some inspiration for your own DIYs. And the theme of this collab really had me excited. It is for changeable, transitional, reversible type of home decor, and I love that because I have this internal battle where I don't want to have a lot of things. I kind of want to be a minimalist, not to the extreme, but I don't enjoy clutter and organizing things. Even though I like to be organized, I don't like organizing things and finding places to store stuff. All of that is burdensome to me. But I also like things. I like to buy things, I like to make things, I like pretty things, I like to decorate. So it's kind of this constant struggle. So anything that can be used in multiple ways through different seasons, through different times of the year is a super big win for me. So I'm really excited. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna get my hair up in a ponytail so that I do not get paint in my hair. I have an iced chai tea latte to sip on while I create, and I'm ready to go, so let's do it. For this first DIY, we're going to grab some of these wood blocks from the Dollar Tree, some White Waverly chalk paint, and a paintbrush from the Dollar Tree, which I actually ended up switching out to a smaller one that ended up still being too big for the container. I realized pretty quick. Anyway, the blocks I picked up quite a while ago from the Dollar Tree, and I had in mind to do something kind of like what I'm doing in this project. I hadn't really nailed it down when I picked them up, but I'm glad I picked them up when I did because I haven't seen them in a while. I actually have a few extras, so I'm excited to be able to use them for more projects in the future. But I am just painting them with white paint. Here I am. I got a bowl because I was like, this brush ain't fitting in that container very well. So you can obviously paint this whatever color you want, or you could stain them with wood, but I wanted it to kind of have the nice contrast to what we're doing later on, and I thought white would go with my decor year round. We will distress it just a little bit, but I'm painting all of the sides. I do in fact also paint the bottoms, which I guess you don't necessarily have to do, but I let everything dry and then I flipped them over and painted the bottom. I didn't really do a second coat. I wanted to, at first I was going to do a dry brush, but then I actually was like, no, I want a thorough coat, but I didn't really worry too much about if any wood showed through. That was okay. That was still going to work, so I didn't fuss with it too much. So while those are drying, I pulled out these wood letters from the Dollar Tree. I have a couple packs of them. They come with only one letter per pack, so I have a couple in there, and I was just pulling out the letters I needed. And I'm using some jet black acrylic paint and a stencil brush. I did not want a thick coverage on these, so that's why I did that brush. And acrylic paint doesn't usually have as thick of a coverage as chalk paint, so it was easier to go light on it. Now I'm going to apologize because for a lot of the video I have a very similar angle here, and I was trying something new with my camera to try to get better lighting because I was right here. I've got a lot of natural light and it's just not super great angle, so bear with me and don't give up on me. Thanks. So now I am dry brushing. I don't think it was with the same black. I think it was with a color called Pavement, but it didn't really matter. And I just kind of did the edges and then a little bit across the middle. And then I went in with a little bit of white acrylic paint with a super dry brush on top of the letters because I just wanted it to not look like smooth and perfect, but I also needed there to be a good amount of contrast once everything was put together. So that's why I went with what I went with. Now I'm taking some Gorilla Glue and I'm going to paint on the glue just so that it didn't have like extra oozing out, and we're going to attach these. Now you could use hot glue, but I don't have a fine tip precision point glue gun, and I feel like I was just going to get to too much. You see I use wood glue a lot in these DIYs today. I just had to give it ample time to dry. I usually just stuck something heavy on top of things and let it dry for about 30 minutes. But you could certainly use hot glue or anything else you wanted. I also feel like hot glue, especially if you get too much out, it ends up raising the piece. There's not like a smooth contact, and that's what I wanted for this. So once again, you can use whatever glue you want.
And I just have them next to each other, making sure that I've got them pretty well lined up and centered, matching one another. And then I went through my stash and I pulled out these little paper flowers, all of these wood pieces. These two are from the Target Dollar Spot. Then I have all of the wood stickers from the different seasons from Dollar Tree. And I just pulled out all of what I had. And in case you couldn't figure it out, we're picking out our O's. So I picked out the ones I wanted. A couple of them were already painted, either from ones I had painted in the past or they just came that way. But then I had a couple that I wanted to paint. So those that had the sticker like adhesive bump, I don't know, pop-it sticker, I don't know what I'm trying to say. On the back, I peeled that off. I think you saw me do that on the snowflake. And we're just going to paint the ones that need to be painted. You don't have to have as many choices as I have here, but I had a lot to choose from, so I just went with it. And I just used like an orange and yellow combo for the leaf, and then a silver or a gray, then I topped with a really light blue for the snowflake. Now, for another option, if you didn't want to do these, was you could just stencil on the different sides of the blocks. There's two different ways you can set up or display the blocks, and because of the way that I'm hoping to do it, I didn't want there to be other things on the sides, but you could certainly just stencil 4 or 5 sides of the block and use it that way. That would work. So I've got these little fastener dots. They're like little Velcro dots from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to attach them. Got a pretty good adhesive to it. They're very, very sticky on the back of each of my items, and then we're going to have our little set to switch out. So this is how I will probably be displaying mine, but you can also lay them across like that as well. And I'm just going to show you real quick what all of them look like. I thought this was super cute, very fun, pretty inexpensive to make. And like I said, you could either just stencil on. See, if I'm stacking them up like this, I didn't want there to be anything seen on the other side of the block because it's kind of visible. But if you laid them just horizontally in a row, you wouldn't really have that problem, and you could just paint and stencil on. So do whatever you like, but I absolutely love how this came out. I cannot wait to use this in my decor. I ended here with the blue star. By the time I ended these DIYs, it was later in the evening, so there was no natural light, so it's kind of hard to tell, but that is a navy blue. I was kind of thinking Americana. And anyways, yeah, I love, love, love how this one came out. Really excited. So moving on to our second DIY, I've got these picture frames. I have these 3.5 by 5 wood frames from Dollar Tree, and I have 4, but I ended up only using 3. Now I will say that this DIY was inspired by Kelly Barlow Creations from actually a video from a couple of years ago that I came across. She used 8 by 10 frames, and she did it a little different, but I saw this and I was like, you know what? I think I can make this interchangeable. So I took off the little label on the front, the label holder on the front of 2 of them. I left it on the one that's going to be our top. You can do that if you want. And then I'm going to take everything out of them, and I'm just kind of bending in the metal prongs on all but one. So the top one, you're going to leave the label holder if you use these particular frames. You might not use these ones. And then the back one, you're going to leave the metal prongs on. So this one is the front one, so we're not using the metal prongs, but I am using some glue to attach this, and I'm just trying to make sure there's not too much so it doesn't ooze out, but I'm just gluing in my glass frame because there's not going to be anything else to hold that together. So we're just cleaning it up. We're going to put a little bottle on top to hold that down and let that dry and set up, and then we're going to start gluing together the frames. So I'm gluing them just with some wood glue once again, and then once they're the one with the glass is all dry, I will attach that one on the top. We are making a little shadow box here, and I chose to use this size frame because one, they're smaller than what Kelly used, and I thought it would work better with my decor where I would be likely to use it, but also I had them on hand already, and they're really cute, and I didn't want to paint them or anything. I just left them as is, so that was a win. So we're going to let that wood glue dry, and once that's done, we're going to start going through my scrapbook paper. I picked up this pack at Hobby Lobby on clearance for like $2.99, and you got tons of it. And we're just going to start cutting out paper. So from that booklet, it was Christmas, although there was a couple that I didn't consider super Christmassy. And then I just went through other paper that I had in my stash and trimmed it down. I think I ended up getting out my paper cutter to get a a cleaner line and to trim it down exactly the size I needed. And we're just going to do that to however many you want. You can do them for each season. You can change them out more frequently than that. I will probably get some extra paper on hand in the future because I was literally just going with what I had on hand here, but I didn't have any like patriotic ones on hand, and I think that would be fun for the summer. So whatever you want to do, let your creativity flow. So these are the papers that I picked out from my stash, and I cut them all down. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of all of the different designs and themes kind of that you could go with if you wanted. It's my Christmas one that's upside down. And now we are going to start with some fillers. So these are some rocks that I've actually collected while at a lake once. Some flowers. I don't use all of these. I'm just showing you the different things that I had on hand that you could use. Some moss could be used with some like little tiny flowers. Actually, I've got like more ideas that are flowing even now as I'm doing this voiceover. I wanted to show you how all of the papers will store nicely in there, and the only thing you have to do is take out the filler pieces. So I'm going to just show you a couple of examples. I've got these mini jingle bells for Christmas. Like I said just now, I was thinking it'd be cute to like put some moss and some itty bitty flowers sticking up out of the moss. It would stay put pretty good. Yeah, I've got some ideas. All right, we've got the fake snow stuff from the Dollar Tree. These little decorative fillers would be great. Just kind of, I've got some more ideas for things that I need to pick up, but I just wanted to show you a couple examples of things I already have on hand. I also had some like mini pine cones, which I can't find at the moment, so I didn't get to use them in this. This one I just used some of these fall stickers from Target. So lots of ideas. I hope you really enjoyed this.
Well, it's much later in the day that I'm getting finished with these DIYs, hence the outfit change, but I'm all done, and I hope that you really enjoyed these DIYs. I definitely think I'm going to be making some more like transitional pieces. I've done some like reversible signs in the past, but I really love the idea of decor that can be used throughout the year. Don't forget to check out Teresa B DIY's channel and the playlist, which are both linked below. And that's going to do it. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Say hello in the comments, and I'll see you next time.